In tonight's edition, we'll bring you a presentation on human trafficking and child abuse at a day seminar which brought together civil society organizations and health workers. The second segment will be centered on UNDP-sponsored Convergence Stakeholders on Gender Equality that was meant to sensitize on the Gender Responsive Budget Assessment Report. I am Fatmata Simahat. Thank you for joining us.
As part of her tour activities, the American Deputy Director of Human Trafficking, Elizabeth Fields, held a session dealing with issues bordering on the international authorities. The program brought together members of NGOs and health workers to interact and have a better understanding of human trafficking and child abuse.
Coming here to talk about human trafficking and reaching out to you and letting you know that you are not alone in your fight, and that I have worked with every population you could possibly imagine in the United States. I have worked with Croatian women. I have worked with Russian women. I have worked with women from Africa, from Somalia, from Nigeria, from different countries who have come into the United States thinking that they were coming there to work, coming there for an opportunity, and then finding out that they were going to be enslaved either in sex trafficking or in labor trafficking. I work with adult victims and I work with children. My oldest victim was 58 years old and she was from Asia. My youngest victim was 8 years old, and she was a very young black girl that was sold by her own mother to the landlord. When she did not have enough money for drugs or for rent, she handed over her child to take care of this horrible habit that she had, to continue this lifestyle that she had picked for herself. So sometimes trafficking is within the family. It is not just businesses or just large agencies or organized crime where trafficking occurs. It is no different here. As I have done my research about your entire country of Africa, we are more alike than we are different. Our answers for the victims are always the same. We have issues with law enforcement. We have issues with the judicial system. Non-government organizations a lot of times feel threatened or feel confused because they're not let into every area of the investigation, and sometimes they feel like they're just not working a case with the law enforcement officer. And I hear the frustration with non-government organizations and social workers. So I want you to know, you are teaching me more than you can possibly imagine. I know that with our social worker, it took a long time to develop a very special communication that we have today. It took a couple of cases for us to get it right. But we got it right.
During her presentation, Elizabeth Fields dealt with issues that are critically relevant to the fight against human trafficking and child abuse, as most of the victims are women and children. She further said that child abuse and human trafficking do not only happen outside the country but happen within families, something she added jeopardizes the lives of its victims.
We know that sometimes the perpetrators are husbands and our family members who are trying to make money off of the child or the person. So I want you to understand, we face the same issues when it comes to money. So how do I make money? I use the art, I use the music, I use the events to call the community to me. And in response, many companies, restaurants, and other places donate food sometimes for the events. And we celebrate, but we also create awareness at the same time. And through art, a wonderful campaign about what human trafficking is and what prevention is what we are planning to do in November 29th.
Participants asked relevant questions regarding issues affecting women and girls. The American Deputy Director of Human Trafficking's mission is to encourage NGOs and government to engage more on supplementary laws already in place to end abuse and protect victims.
We will now take a short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Proper policies empower women to enable them participate fully in the development processes. In this regard, the Women's Bureau, in collaboration with UNDP, came together for effective and efficient dissemination of the gender-responsive budget in all sectors. The proper policy empower women to tackle poverty under UNDP's development objective in improving the socio-economic status of vulnerable groups, particularly women and girls in urban, rural, and peri-urban areas, while ensuring participatory planning and improved management of development activities, recognizing the need for focus on enhancing the human capital of the poor. It is in that light the Women's Bureau aims at sensitizing stakeholders on the gender-responsive budget report. The Deputy Speaker and Chairperson of the National Women's Council, Honorable Fatumbai, spoke of the commitment of the Office of the Vice President to use gender-responsive budget assessment report and the Vision 2010-2020 as the main development framework of the country.
There is the need for a coherent, participatory, and multi-sectoral approach to come up with a gender-responsive budget analysis of all government departments and institutions. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there is a clear gender dimension to poverty, as female-headed households are poorer than male-headed households. The poverty head count ratio for female-headed households being 60.5%, while male-headed stands at 40.7. The severity of